is 9:34 here in the boardroom of the Community Center. This is the monthly meeting of the Third Laguna Hills Mutual, and I'll call the meeting to order. We have a quorum, we have 8 here and 3 online, so we actually have a full board in attendance. I will ask Director Fox if he would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure. Everybody please rise. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have Director Sosak, Wayne Sosak, seconds. I would like to make one correction to the agenda, and I would like to move under consent calendar, item number 9, which is the consent calendar, C11. C11 says recommendation to deny the request for removal of one sugar gum tree located at 5488P Paseo del Lago West. I'd like to remove that from the consent calendar and place that under new business, please. Okay?
Okay.
Hearing no sir? No, hearing no objections to that. Any other additions or changes? We also have, hopefully, folks, you have in your hands the addendum 10E that gets added to our agenda. Okay? All right. Hearing no objections, I will then assume that the modified agenda is approved as agreed. All right. I need now to get a motion to approve the October 21st, 2025 minutes of the regular open meeting. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Director Creamy approves and Director Johnson seconds. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions related to those minutes? Hearing none, I will go ahead then and assume that the minutes are approved as presented. Can I get a motion now to approve the November 7th, 2025 agenda prep meeting minutes?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Director Creamy moves. Can I get a second?
Second.
I see Director Rain Sosak seconds. Any corrections, deletions, additions to those? Hearing none, I will go ahead and assume then that they are accepted and approved. Report of the chair. Like I said, we have 3 people online. Do we know if they can see us? They can now see us?
The camera's up and running. Yep.
Okay, so they can be full participants? Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. All righty. Other than that, let's move to the open forum for speakers. Do we have any?
Yes. Let me pull that up. Okay. First speaker is Chris Collins.
Just as a matter of information for those, because I see some faces that I haven't seen before, this open forum for 3 minutes is for items that are not on the agenda. If you want to speak to something that's on the agenda, you have to wait to speak when that is presented. Okay? Ms. Collins.
Chris Collins, 33062, and I'm here with an update on the work that's done by the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Please repeat. I couldn't hear you. How many times have you heard that? Are you the one having difficulty? Is lack of money holding you back from getting hearing aids? New funding recently became available to help Laguna Woods Village residents purchasing hearing aids if personal finances are the problem. The Foundation of Laguna Woods Village was one of 138 nonprofit agencies out of 1,004 applicants chosen to receive $50,000 in special grant funding from the Samueli Foundation Breakaway Fund in October. With these grant funds, the foundation is thrilled to be able to provide expanded benefits to village residents. So if you believe you can benefit from this new grant program, please follow these steps. Step 1, do you have a hearing loss and think hearing aids might help? So if so, finding out through a hearing screening or a test, several options are available, for example. So if you're an AARP member, you can take a phone-based hearing test free once a year, or the website of the Hearing Loss Association of America, OC chapter, provides a link to free online hearing test. It's hearinglossca.org. Many health insurance programs cover the cost of a hearing screening or test, or your primary care physician can do a preliminary screening. Also, Costco provides hearing tests for its members and offers reasonably priced hearing aids. Step 2, do you have the financial resources to pay for hearing aids? If not, the next step is to contact Laguna Woods Social Services. Please call 949-597-4267 to make an appointment to find out whether you qualify for financial assistance from the foundation and to verify if any insurance is applicable. However, please note that you may be eligible for financial assistance even with health insurance that provides some hearing benefits. You must be a Laguna Woods resident to participate in this program. Treating hearing loss is essential. Untreated hearing loss can increase the risk of dementia, cause social isolation, decrease mental sharpness, and affect balance. So we can help. So for more information about hearing aid financial assistance, please contact Social Services at 949-597-4267 or the foundation at the foundation lwv@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Ronald Rolnick.
Good morning.
Morning.
We're having a problem with excessive water in our manor. My wife and I have been to resident services 4 times to request help. Each time the ticket gets written up, we then get an email a week or so later, the ticket is closed. We contact resident services, it hasn't been solved. One time somebody was going to clear a drain, another time the sprinkler was going to be lowered, and we've been asking constantly if somebody who's going to come out will contact us, let us know when they're going to come, knock on the door so we can show them what the problem is. I have pictures of there are 2 problems. There's excessive sprinklers, especially on the east side, which gets no sun at all. And then on the north side, we have a situation where there's a lake forming near the patio door. This is a picture I have copies of. This is water that's behind the little step. The patio door is there. So the recent rains, the water is getting close to getting into the patio by the door. All we want is somebody to come out, let us show them what the problem is and solve it. We had an issue, a similar problem in a former address we had here on San Amadeo. Contacted resident services, somebody came out, foreman came out, saw everything, put in drains, problem solved. This time, it's been very frustrating, and we're very concerned that the water is going to be coming into the patio in addition to the excessive water on the other side. So we're asking for somebody to actually contact us to come out and look at what the problem is and help us solve it before we have water coming into the patio.
Okay, your unit number is what?
I'm sorry?
Your unit number.
5419 Calle Carmenita.
Okay.
Would you please give your photos to the secretary so we can look at?
Sure.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, they're black and white, so they don't...
It's all right. It's all right. Give us some ideas.
Am I done now?
Yeah. And it's up to you.
You said your piece.
Well, I said what I wanted.
Next speaker is Sakon Kim. I apologize if I mispronounced your name.
Sir, are you here to speak about your tree? You have to wait. I removed that from the consent calendar and moved it to the end. And I told you earlier that about an hour and a half from now, we'll actually be taking up your particular issue. So now
Okay.
yours is on the agenda.
I'll move his name down to that item for
Thank you.
discussion. Sure. So then after would be Jim Hopkins, who's speaking as a member on behalf of the History Center.
Good morning. You stole my line. I'm changing hats. Anyway, yes, I am speaking on behalf of the History Center, which you may or may not know is not supported or affiliated with the village government. It is supported totally by endowment and volunteers and donations. But it is there right at Clubhouse 1. It's right next to the library. It is a wealth of information about the history of Laguna Woods, Leisure World, as well as the land. And the land history is probably one of the things that opened my eyes to the history and background of where we live. They can go back at the History Center 16,000 years, where the Achuman nation was here. And so those kind of things amaze me, and that's why I got more involved. And I am now a trustee on the History Board. So not only am I speaking here as a resident, but I'm speaking here as a trustee of the History Board, because it is fascinating. You can visit the History Board between 11 and 1, Monday through Friday. It's right over there, right outside, right next to the library, right outside of Clubhouse 1. It's at 24, what is it? Oh, whatever the address is. Oh, 24266 Calle Aragon. The number, or if you want to go there by appointment, the number is 949-206-0150. There's a wealth of information there, and they also could use volunteers as well as obviously donations. The history of the land just before it became Leisure World, okay, and then Laguna Woods, is basically it was owned by Lewis Moulton and Nellie Gale. Now, those names will sound familiar to you, but it was owned by them. He was a sheep rancher. So there's a lot of history that connects the dots for a lot of things that, for me, as to why, for instance, there's a street over there by De Carlotta named after Moulton and Nellie Gale's daughter, De Luisa, okay, named after another daughter. So all of those things start to come together when you start to join the history. So I would invite anybody and everybody to make an appointment at the History Center, or just walk in from 11 to 1 every day, Monday through Friday, and visit Dale and Dean over there. They like to talk about the history, specifically the 16,000 years, as well as some of the Laguna Woods Leisure World history. So invite everybody there, and again, thank you for listening, and I should have kept the hat on, but...
Thank you.
Anyway, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have two member emails. The first one is from Mr. Jay Lessie regarding the landscape items on the consent calendar, but since we can't allow members to speak for the consent calendar, I'm just going to read his member comment now. It's very brief. He stated, "Good morning, board. I am Jay Lessie and I live in 3rd. I agree with the Landscape Committee's recommendation to deny all the requests this month to remove trees. There are 9 such requests. This is Laguna Woods, and I am so glad that the committee values our namesake trees. Please, people should not buy homes next to trees if they do not like trees or falling leaves. Thank you." And then there's one more member email from Deborah Hawley Street. They emailed last month, and unfortunately this email was not included in the member comments last month, so I'll be going ahead and reading their letter now. They said, subject, we are requesting an alternative to be used of orange oil instead of Vicane tent fumigation. For over 18 years, Pacific Coast Termite has had success in controlling termite infestations in multi-unit complexes with orange oil. After careful research, medical advice, and reviewing documented studies, we stand firm in our knowledge that the use of Vicane would be detrimental to my husband Robert's health. Reported cases of illnesses related to fumigation tenting in California are a documented concern. Studies and reports have verified exposure to Sulfuryl fluoride, Vicane, resulted in serious illnesses, including cardiopulmonary, breathing difficulties, neurological effects such as seizures, tremors, slurred speech, memory problems, and deaths. Key findings and statistics: exposure after clearance. The Department of Public Health investigation has 86 cases recorded of pesticide illness surveillance program data between 2003 and 2017 revealed that illnesses occurred after the structure has been cleared for reentry, suggesting that residual fumigant levels was still present in enclosed spaces like wall voids, etc. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, recommends extreme caution for individuals with respiratory issues such as asthma, COPD, and obstructive lung disease when fumigating. Damara Trombauer, Deputy of the Agricultural Commissioner, Pesticide Use Enforcement County of Orange, told me there is never a zero risk with Vicane, as it is a poison. Deaths have also occurred even after the structure has been cleared for reentry. This can be due to enclosed spaces like wall voids, cabinets, sockets, and other hidden areas leading to ongoing exposure. These structural voids and compartments hold on to the residual gas. Your attention to this matter is vital. This is a life and death situation for my husband. It could exacerbate his cardiopulmonary illnesses or cause his death. Please notify me when you will be moving forward with the use of orange oil. And that is all for open forum comments.
Okay, thank you. Anybody want to respond to anything? Yes.
Staff will be reaching out to Mr. Rolnick this afternoon at the latest. Thank you.
Okay. I guess did he leave?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, so that takes care of that one. As for Chris Collins and the foundation, Chris, I want to thank you once again for the great work that the foundation does for the village residents. So thank you very much. And thank you for coming regularly to give us an update on the great work that you do. Thank you. Okay. Jim Hopkins, History Center. I agree. Great place. Certainly people should visit. Jay Leslie will deal with the issues related to the consent calendar shortly, and we'll see where that takes us. As for the last person, Debbie Holly Street, we have been in communication with her via email. Her statement here is similar to the concerns that she has expressed via email, and we have responded to her previously. And I have said to her in the email that the VMS staff, legal counsel, and our current exterminator will explore the issues and make a determination as to how we can best proceed. We understand her concerns for her husband, and we'll certainly take that into consideration. Anything else? All right. I think that addresses that. Moving on, we're now into the CEO report.
Thank you, President Muchnick, members of the board. This morning, I would like to share some updates this morning. I would like to start with an announcement about the commercial transportation routes. In early September, Village Bus commercial routes 1 and 2 were temporarily combined. Beginning yesterday, both commercial routes resumed full operation. So we thank our residents for their patience while we had to combine the routes, and hopefully the separation of those routes will help improve service. There is an upcoming Medicare open enrollment clinic to help users understand healthcare choices, compare and analyze plans, identify potential cost savings, and so forth. The Medicare open enrollment clinic will be Thursday, November 20th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Clubhouse 2. Please schedule an appointment by calling 714-560-0424. And any questions can be addressed to social services. That number is 949-597-4267. I also want to touch on adjusting for time changes. Recently, we switched the clocks back an hour, and residents may feel disrupted by
There's
this
nothing to really
change.
report.
Sleep disturbances and fatigue may result, disruption of the natural sleep-wake rhythm, and so forth. Please feel free to contact social services if you need any assistance. Again, their number is 949-597-4267, and they're located here in the community center if you want to stop by and all services are completely confidential. As we head into the holiday season, please remember, safety starts with awareness. Staying alert and reporting concerns helps keep our community safe. For emergencies, dial 911. For immediate non-emergency concerns, please call Security Services at 949-580-1400. This is a 24-hour telephone number. To report possible rule violations, you can either do this via the website or a community rule violation form at the community center. On the next slide, please be aware of holiday scams. Residents are invited to learn how to spot and stop in-person, online, phone, and text scams before they start. The event is Wednesday, November 19th, so tomorrow, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Performing Arts Center. This will feature California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation Specialist Jackie Wiley, and she will present information on how to prevent these scams. Residents, as well as their registered guests and caregivers, are welcome to attend this free event. Please RSVP to 949-798-7221. I also want to share a reminder about holiday decorations as we head into that season. Decorations placed on common area turf prevent mowing. Crews will avoid mowing within 1 foot of decorations. The next mowing cycle is scheduled for November 24th. Please do not place decorations in or on trees to allow safe trimming and maintenance. Trimming crews face delays and safety issues when decorations are present. On the next slide, coyote awareness is always an issue in our community since we are adjacent to so much open space. There's a new coyote awareness and reporting page on the village website. Coyotes are part of our local environment and sightings may occur year-round. Please find guidance from the City of Laguna Woods and Animal Services on this new page. This includes when to call Laguna Beach Animal Services or 911, tips for preventing coyote encounters, and what you should be doing if you see a coyote. And this page is available on the website under Services, Coyote Awareness, and Reporting. In terms of the TIG fiber project, crews are currently working in zones 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, and 11. This covers the southeast area near gates 1, 3, and 4. Residents may notice building, rewiring, vault placement, and fiber pulling occurring. In the next 30 to 60 days, TIG will expand to zones 5 and 13. This is near gates 2 and 5 in our community. If you need to contact TIG on the next slide, you may visit tinginternet.com/Laguna Woods Village or email TIG at lagunawoodsvillageconstruction@ting.com. And I would like to conclude by highlighting the recent Employee Excellence Award recipients. The awards are presented yearly in spring and fall, recognizing outstanding employees who demonstrate excellent customer service, achieve great results on projects, and regularly go above and beyond their job duties. We have 16 winners this year. On the first slide are our Maintenance and Construction Award winners, Sandra Spencer, Zorina Lavello, and Jocelyn Flores Castillo. On the next slide, from Recreation and Special Events, Kenneth Fry and Ryan Vigil. From Security Service, Francis Roberts in our Social Services Division. Our Landscaping Services recognized 4 employees, Jose Almanza, Jose Tero Salinas, Carlos Cortez Montes, and Carlos V. Cab. And lastly, but not least, General Services recognized the broadband team. They were recognized for their more than 125 cumulative years maintaining the community cable and internet system. They were key in locating conduit for the Fiber to Home project, which is ongoing now, and partnering with TIG during rollout. So please join me if you encounter any of these employees and help us recognize them for their outstanding service to the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. And all matters under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committees and will be enacted by the board by one motion. In the event an item is removed, which is what we did, such item will be subject for discussion later on. So can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar? I see Director Rain Sosak moves. I see Director Johnson seconds. Is there any discussion? Typically, no, but hearing none, can I assume that the consent calendar is approved? Okay. So we'll now move on to item number 10, unfinished business. Under unfinished business, we have entertained a motion to amend the vehicle, traffic, and parking rules policy. This has been on 28-day notification, and I will ask our secretary to please read the resolution related to this particular issue. Oh, okay. Well, let's get the motion, let's get it on the floor first, Peggy, then we'll take your hand. It's this one. Yeah. That's it.
Resolution 03-25-XX, Vehicle, Traffic, and Parking Rules. Whereas the Security Services Department is responsible for the administration of the Laguna Woods Village Traffic, Vehicle, and Parking Rules. And whereas the Golden Ray Foundation has recognized the need to amend the vehicle, traffic, and parking rules with removal of the traffic school program. Now therefore be it resolved, on November 18th, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves the vehicle, traffic, and parking rules as attached to the official minutes of this meeting, and resolve further, and Resolution 3/1985, approved August 20th, 2019, are hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution as written. And this initial notification, 28-day notification for member review has been satisfied.
Okay. Can I get a motion to put this on?
I will move. I will move.
Peggy moves. Can I get a second?
I second.
Director Creamy seconds. All right, any discussion? I do have one comment, one question. It's really more of a question. On page 82 of 102, under Authority and Enforcement, item 3.1, under Authority. Currently, the Traffic Court, or the Traffic Hearing Committee, includes Mutual 50. Is that correct?
Correct.
Under this, Mutual 50 is no longer included. Is that correct? Because I'm reading, it says, third will appoint the Laguna Woods Village Traffic Hearings Committee comprised of GRF, United Laguna Woods Mutual, and third board members. It doesn't say anything in here about Mutual 50. So is Mutual 50 now excluded from that?
I will have to get a clarification. I don't see anyone from Security Services in the audience. Maybe they're on their way over. I apologize for that.
Okay, but that's my only question on this document, because it's
Yeah.
Clearly
I
a
assume
change.
that's omission, probably.
and I don't know if it's just, I don't know if it's just an omission or if it was intentional. Okay? So how do we want to?
Are we able to continue this for later in the agenda and come back to it
Yeah,
when
why don't we
Security
do,
Services?
why don't we do
comes up?
that and move on to the next item on the agenda, and we'll come back to that. All right, second one on the agenda is entertain a motion to approve an increase in the annual electric vehicle charge fee. This also was on 28-day notice, and I'd ask the secretary to please read that resolution, and then we'll open it up for discussion.
That's a long one.
It's a long resolution?
Yeah. Should we just do the price, or? We've done anything different between the cost?
Here it is.
I got this one. Wait.
You want me to read it?
No, but, oh, I see. Gotcha. Skip this. All right. Resolution 0325XX, Zero Emission Vehicles, ZEV for short. Annual fee for use of a standard 120-volt outlet. Whereas Third Laguna Hills Mutual has previously permitted electric vehicle owners to utilize 120-volt outlets in common areas under a $240 annual fee structure established in 2015. And whereas the current annual electric vehicle charge does not reflect the actual cost of electricity consumed by zero-emission vehicles charged within the community. And whereas at the October 7th, 2025 Finance Committee meeting, the committee reviewed staff's recommendation of an increase to the annual electric vehicle charge fee for zero-emission vehicles from $240 to $420, based on usage assumptions. And whereas zero-emission ZEV and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, PHEVs, users who have paid the current annual fee through December 31st, 2025, prior to November 18th, 2025, will not be subject to the increased fee until January 1st, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved, on November 18th, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby authorizes to carry out this resolution as written, that owners of EVs electing to charge their vehicle within Third Laguna Hills Mutual shall be assessed an annual electric vehicle charge usage fee of $420. And 1, every ZEV and PHEV must be registered through the automobile registration process and obtain a decal from Resident Services that must be visibly displayed on the inside lower corner of the opposite window of the charge point while charging from mutual outlets. Unauthorized connections to power outlets may be subject to disconnection by security staff in addition to other enforcement actions. 2, an annual January to December electricity usage fee set by the third board will be required for every electric vehicle registered and electing to charge in the mutual. This fee may be prorated for ZEVs and PHEVs registered during the year. 3, charging must occur in compliance with posted guidelines to avoid overcharging circuits. Residents are encouraged to coordinate with neighbors and stagger charging times to prevent circuit breaker trips. Recommended amperage draw is no more than 8 amps, and if more than 2 vehicles are using a bank of circuits, each vehicle should limit to 5 amps or less. 4, in the interest of safety, unattended extension cords may not be used in Third for any purpose. Any unattended extension cords may be disconnected by security staff, in addition to other enforcement actions. 5, owners of ZEVs and PHEVs are solely responsible for maintenance of the vehicles and any associated charging equipment. No modifications may be made to mutual outlets, circuit breakers, or wiring without proper authorization. Number 6, owners seeking to use high voltage charging must comply with board-approved alteration standard Section 44, and shall be required to apply for a permit and make necessary arrangements with the electrical service provider, which is currently Southern California Edison, for installation of a separate service panel and conduit, an appropriate electrical outlet. In such an event, vehicle registration will not be required. 7, connection to outlets controlled by GRF, United or Mutual 50 is prohibited, except for self-contained fee-per-use charging stations. 8, connection to an outlet metered at any individual manner is prohibited without the controlling owner's express permission. 9, the decal is the property of Third Mutual and may be revoked upon expiration, withdrawal, or termination of the program or non-compliance with these rules. Resolve further that Resolution 03-15-129, adopted on September 15, 2015, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. October initial notification, 28 days, was completed.
Okay, can I get a motion to put this on the floor? I see Rain Sotsak, and I see Peggy Moore's hand up. I'll take that as a second. All right, we're now open for discussion on this issue. And yes, Director Moon.
Thank you. This is about 75% increase from 240, and the total amount we're gonna get is $16,200. When I calculated, we are taking about 90 EV whole through to the mutual. Just for, I think it is much more than 90 EV into the mutual. So the number we calculated here or presented is based on the wrong assumption. So I would propose, or I'd like to see, instead of the 75%, I would like to see that about 50%. And we are assuming, at least I'm assuming, at least more than 150 EV in throughout the Third Mutual instead of 90, or could be higher than 150. So even we increase the 50%, our total amount of increase is well over $16,000. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Don.
Yeah, there are many individuals who own electric vehicles who actually have a garage or other way to directly plug in to their own power and paying the bill. So we can't really use a number that represents the electric vehicles in the entire community because many of them don't use that. And there may be people who choose whether they drive so little that it's less expensive for them to go to a charging station when they need it. So there's just a problem with that figure.
Okay. Chief Financial Officer Hormuth.
Good morning. With response to that, the attempt here isn't to recapture the $16,000. The intent of this is for anyone who plugs their car into a charger is to recoup that additional cost. So whether you have 20 cars in the community that are charging or you have 500 that are charging, this is intended to recapture that cost. So I don't recommend that you lower the cost because we're not chasing that $16,000. But I will inform the board something that we didn't include in here. From a security side, we're having discussions over different means of enforcement. So if you feel that you're seeing a lot more EVs in the community that aren't being charged the correct charge, we're looking at different ways, potentially changing up the color of the sticker, so on and so forth, in terms of making certain that they are easily identified in the community. So again, my encouragement would be to leave the fee as is, but I do respect your contribution.
Okay. Any other, Director Hopkins, then Director Park?
Yeah,
Then eventually, folks, we will get to members, if your comments.
Yeah,
Director Hopkins and Director Park.
Okay. Yeah, two things. One is, are we recovering costs? I see the numbers, but I guess I wasn't clear on what the cost is that we incur, not just the electric cost, but there's a certain administrative, all those kinds of things associated with that. And so if you were, if you operate a gas vehicle, gasoline vehicle, you go to a gasoline station outside. Here it's very convenient. That's great. But at the same time, you're paying for all the overhead and profit and everything else. Not looking for a profit here, but certainly the overhead structure associated with administering electric vehicles. There should not be a free ride that's subsidized by the residents. And then the next thing is what was I was thinking? It was the cost. Oh, and the process for enforcement. Okay, I'm not sure. I mean, it's not for discussion here, but I'm not sure what the process for enforcement is. So I can see a lot of folks kind of skipping enforcement without a rigorous way to enforce. So I would suggest some level of upgraded enforcement process that you may want to discuss with the operating team.
Sure, we'll address the enforcement at a subsequent meeting. But with regards to the cost, it's a great observation. So when we performed the calculation, we strictly were going after the electricity usage, not the overall overhead. Arguably, the carports, so that is covered by all the residents. So I would imagine these carports and the electrical outlets that were installed were done so far before the days of electric powered vehicles. So with that being said, all of these carports are covered by the accumulation of all the residents. But again, at a later date, we can consider adding in some burden/overhead to that charge, but that was not included at this time.
Yeah, and that would in finance we would call that a direct burden. There's also the indirect burden. So.
Okay, Director Park.
Yeah, thank you. Item 3 of the pages 7 of 8, trying to control the charge current of the circuitry that we have. Our current circuit of GVA and LH21 buildings or carport is typically either 20 amp or 15 amp. So if you charge 2 vehicles, that means it may have current. That's why the circuitry is getting the trip. So item 3 is not appropriate as far as I can read it. So we need more study on item 3. There's no way you can control the amperage for the charging vehicle. So please show the knowledge of electricity, how it current flows. This item is not complete. We need to review this one. Thank you.
Okay. Just Director Karimi.
Yeah, I assume that $420 is not based on the hard data, that how much electricity each vehicle uses. This is a hand-waving kind of estimate, which can be 50%, 100% different, because depending on the frequency of the individual that uses their vehicle and how frequently they charge, things can be different. And also, the vehicle different from, the EV vehicle are different on the way that they charge also. The amps that they pull and all of that depends on their batteries. Some of them have, Tesla batteries. Some of them have a bit different type of batteries. So this is an estimate. This is estimate to recover or cost, or this is estimate to, just for sake of doing, increasing. How we came with 420? Is there hard data, or this is just, we say, 420 is a good number?
It's definitely not a finger in the air. So we took thank you for the question. We did an analysis in terms of we went to the Federal Highway Administration to figure out what overall the average mileage is for someone 55 plus or older. What the response was about 7,500 miles over the course of the year. However, Laguna Woods Village is different, given the fact that we're in southern Orange County. We have many amenities that are close by. We reduced that to an amount less than 5,000 miles per year. I'm very confident that we have many residents that are still fully employed and are driving in excess of 12,000 miles. Conversely, you also have residents who are driving probably less than 1,000 to 2,000 miles. So it was an estimate. It was based on discussions that we had with various residents, contributions from various board members during finance meetings, and then that we'll call 5,000 miles was multiplied by the average dollar amount that it costs to recharge a Tesla, which was a significant number of vehicles within the community. So that was 27 cents per kilowatt being charged. And on average, we're being billed about 34 cents per kilowatt. So when you run the math, it comes up to about 420. Actually, it comes up to slightly more than that, but we rounded down to 420.
Okay, so there is,
There's definitely math
there is a
behind
kind
it.
of,
Yes. Yes.
kind of guesstimate.
Correct. But also, we wanted to include a consistent calculation. That way, in future years, what we intend on doing is adapting the 2027 electricity usage charge, coming back with an increased fee. That way, we don't go long spans without an increase.
And what's the effective date for this?
January 1st, 2026.
Okay, so if people start going and buying the sticker now, they pay $240.
Correct.
For the next year.
Correct.
Okay. So just want to make sure we understand that.
Yeah.
Director Hopkins.
Yeah, and I buy your set of assumptions, okay? And you have to make assumptions in all of these
Correct.
things. I get that. One of the things, since this is cost recovery, I would suggest that all of your numbers be, I'll call it at the max level. For instance, the cost per kilowatt hour, there's a difference between the time you charge. And so maybe using the I guess it's the 5 to 8 hourly charge is different than, let's say, the 12 noon. So what I would suggest is, since it's cost recovery, use those kinds of recovery rates so that there's nothing paid by non-EV user residents in the whole process. And I think that's, for me, that would be the thing you would want to guard, is you've got people who've made a choice, and they have to, that's part of that choice, is that they will pay for their fuel.
Understood. Okay. Any more discussion from board members? One more, Director Fox.
Yeah, question. The 2026 budget, does that include the 39,000 number? Or does it include the 55,000 number for annual billing on this?
It does not include the updated increase.
So it's 39 is in the 20, okay.
Because it hasn't
Thank
been
you.
approved.
Okay. We have members that want to speak on this issue?
Yes, sir. Just one. Rachel Foreman.
Oh, there's another one too.
Did you fill out a card, sir?
Please
Fill
do.
out a card, and we'll be happy to let you speak as well.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I live in Manor, 3364 Punta Alta 1E. We've only been in the village about 4 months, although we've been coming into the village for many, many, many years. I heard something today from one of the members of the board. I'd like to correct some assumptions. When you are an EV owner, you get a special electric rate from the company, from the Southern California Edison, for your usage in your home. And if the carports are part of that, these are the times that the usage goes up and down. The least amount, your off-peak hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Your peak hours are 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., and then your mid-peak hours are 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. So not quite what you were thinking. And that's how the Southern California, I've been an electric owner now for 5 years. I'm on my second electric car, and I do not own a Tesla. There are quite a few Tesla charging stations in back of the shopping center where Polly's are. I also have seen a large number of golf carts, which I suspect outnumber electric EVs. So I don't know if you charge a separate fee for golf carts.
Yes.
And since not being
It's the next item on the agenda.
okay, being relatively new to living here, I wouldn't know that. Many electric vehicles, you can adapt the ampage, so therefore you can control some of what Mr. Park's concern was about ampage usage. Right now, I know I'm the only electric vehicle in my carport. I understand the need for a raise, and I have no objection to a raise. What my objection is the amount of the raise in one shot. Many people here are on fixed incomes. We all know if you're an AARP member, you have been reading that the COLA on Social Security is 2.8%. With what they are raising the Part B Medicare premiums, that's going to wipe out about 50 to 60% of that. And I have no objection to a raise, but I think we need to consider the population here and maybe moderate the raise over maybe 2 payments, one this year and next year, or do something with it, because for a lot of people, $180 is going to be a large payment in one shot. I don't know if it can be done monthly, but I think we need to moderate that and really take into account how EVs are charged and used, because it is, and if somebody really wants to charge their car faster, you have ChargePoint. I've been a ChargePoint member. And I will tell you that as a new resident, if I have 2 seconds, I was given some sheets on EVs. Not all this information was included on those sheets. So I think as a new resident, and there are other things, and it might behoove the board to put together a new resident package with all of these little things that you only get partial information about.
Okay, thank you.
We have,
Just as a response to you, one piece of information. These rates have not been raised in 10 years. So that's why it's a big jump.
I know.
But I think you're right. I understand what your other issues are related to it.
Yeah, I think
So
we
thank
have
you.
to look at our population.
Yeah, and I certainly I appreciate you correcting me on my my rate structure and all. One of the things I think we have to realize here, this is common area. It is not specifically to your particular resident. And so when we have common area activities, all of us are paying for it. And that's therefore we want to make the recovery adequate so that nobody else is subsidizing the EV vehicle. And I agree with your direction, though.
Okay.
No
okay,
back and
listen,
forth
hold-
discussion,
hold it,
please.
Hold it. Gentlemen, come up and speak.
Gary Soretsky. And then there's one more member comment.
One more member, sure.
I've been a resident of Laguna Woods for about 10 years. I've owned 2 electric vehicles, and I currently plug it in or attempt to plug it in a carport where there are at least 4 other cars, and there are golf carts also that use the same circuitry. So your discussion reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where he goes to the car rental place and they say, yes, we have your reservation, but we don't have your car. In at least 25% of the time that I go to plug my car in, either I do not have any power at all, or during the evening I get a message on my phone that says, you've lost your charge. So I do not have charge because either someone else who has an EV who is a resident has plugged in, or frequently there are people who have guests, they have their kids who have younger cars and they have EVs, and I even have it where caregivers come and they plug their hybrids in, which pops the system, and I don't get it. So I wouldn't mind paying the $400+ if the system worked. But in my case, it frequently does not. And if you didn't have the proviso that you have to coordinate with your friends or your neighbors, and many of my neighbors don't speak English or they're deaf. so it's difficult to coordinate with my neighbors the plugging in of EVs. It's, when you ask for the money, the additional rate, for a system that does not function, it's like pouring salt in a wound. I don't mind paying if the association would take that money and apply it to upgrading the electrical system to that it would support 220 or the various new services that are available. To charge more money for a system that doesn't work, I want you to deeply reconsider that. And if you're going to raise it, allocate part of that raise towards repairing and increasing the electrical system so that the backboard and the wiring is adequate to support multiple vehicles, because we're not in horse and buggy anymore. It's not only a charge, but I provide a service to the community, a large number of residents who have respiratory diseases and conditions, and I help them by having an emission-free vehicle.
Thank you. Next.
Final speaker is Dan Frio.
I can't possibly come close to what I just heard. And most of it I haven't encountered at all. And the thought of having situations where other people are charging, even people in your own cul-de-sac, and you can't get any charging, that would be horrific. And as far as the issue here, though, for me, when I walked in, it was real simple. I had one word, the word of the day, affordability. And what most of us, and there was a woman who brought this up, but most of us are faced with all kinds of other increases. Everybody knows everything about this because it is so important. And it isn't that the amount is excessive. I don't find it excessive. But you budget the 240, and then in 1 year, this changes nearly, 75%? And I think that was the first message we got. To me, was probably a little too much percentage-wise at one particular moment in time. But I understand you're trying to get other issues involved. But that was my simple one. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all.
That's it? All right, any more discussion? Director Karimi.
Yeah, we understand our infrastructure is not designed to take the large number of EV cars. And we understand that. In order to fix that, we need huge amount of money to do that. And at this time, it doesn't look like very feasible, and we don't really have a solution to solve this issue that, when there are two cars or 3 cars in a carport, the things, the fuse goes off and you cannot charge. Yes, there are those problems, those issues, but it's still people that charge their vehicle, they're using the electricity that belongs to the community and everyone pays, and we cannot subsidize people with the EV and not charge them for the electricity usage. And that's what I asked the question, how we came up with 420. It's not an exact science. We used the best available, calculation that we could. We come up with the numbers, and I understand the difficulties. And it's not just the EV. We have electric bikes have been being charged in the carport. We have, golf carts that are being charged, and we have now electric cars that are being charged. And our system that cannot handle that all at the same time. So we do have an issue, we understand that, but the best we can do right now, at least to recover some of the cost of the electricity, so we don't have to, everyone doesn't have to subsidize people with the EV car. If the gas, price of gas goes up $1, we don't subsidize it. You go and put the gas in your car. It's the electricity cost is going up. Every year it's gone up. I mean, our finance guru can tell us that the price of electricity is going up and we're paying a whole lot, and we cannot make the whole membership pays for it while, people are going to be using, electricity that belongs to all the members.
Anything else from the directors? Hearing none, we have a motion on the floor to approve this resolution. Can I call for the vote, please?
Craig, Peggy, and Steve, if you guys want to submit your vote via the Zoom chat, or you can state your vote aloud.
I'm in favor.
Thank you, Craig. Peggy and Steve, can you unmute yourselves and provide your vote? Okay, Steve messaged no. Okay, we just need Peggy's. Okay, I might mark her down as absent because she's not
Okay.
providing a chat or unmuting.
All right, the motion passes six yes, 3 no, and 1, I guess, abstention from Peggy. Correct? Motion passes. Okay. Before we go on to the next one, can we go back to the traffic issue, since I see we have somebody present to address it, so we don't make her sit forever?
Yes, thank you. We have Alicia Magnuson here from Security Services to answer the question about Mutual 50.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We had some walk-ins in security, so. Okay, we are at, you said 3.1, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So just to start off, Mutual 50 is part of the traffic committee. It has a representative from each mutual board. So if you would like to add Mutual 50 into here, we can do that. It wasn't in here as the previous rules had it written already. This is exactly how they were previously written. And the goal in changing all of these rules and regulations was to have them uniform across all mutual boards. So GRF and United do not have Mutual 50 written in there, similar to yours. So if you'd like to have them across the board, that's...
Well, if Mutual 50 is going to be a participant, then they need to be in the rules.
Okay. We need to add it, Alicia. Thank you.
Yeah.
So just at the end, do you want it to say...
Or a
so-
list of 3, it says, and just put down Mutual 50 as one of the things, so that they can be a participant. Because if they're not in there, then to me, they can't participate.
Got it, no problem, we will add that.
Yeah, and you
Thank you.
I don't understand how they cannot be part of it because they cannot apply different rules.
Agreed.
I think it's.
Agreed. Well, take care of it. Thank you.
All right,
Just
thank you. That's-
Introduce that at their meeting so that they
Just
can
add it.
ratify.
No.
Yes, you can. All right, thank you. All right, so let's go back to that motion with that adjustment. Is there any more discussion about that motion? It was made and it's on the floor. So if everybody's satisfied, can we vote on that motion, please?
Which include the Mutual 50.
Which includes Mutual 50 as part of the traffic hearing committee.
Same thing again for Peggy and Craig. I received Steve's vote, so I'll update that right now. Thank you, Steve.
I'm in favor.
Okay, thank you, Craig. All right. Peggy, can you unmute yourself and provide your vote? We also need Jim's vote and Moon's vote.
So we're waiting on just Peggy?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but I'm going to mark her as abstained again.
Okay.
She's on Zoom, but she's muted, so I can't hear anything or see
Okay,
her.
motion passes 9 in favor, no, 0 no's, and 1 abstention. Okay, we move on now to item unfinished business 10C. Entertain a motion to approve an increase to the annual electric golf cart charge fee. This is on 28 days. I'll ask the secretary to please read it.
Resolution 0325XX, electric golf cart annual fee for use of standard 120-volt outlet. Whereas Third Laguna Hills Mutual currently permits residents to own and operate electric golf carts, which may be charged using mutual-owned 120-volt outlets in common areas. And whereas the existing annual golf cart fee of $155, last updated in 2015, no longer reflects the true cost of electricity borne for the mutual for the charging of those vehicles. And whereas at the October 7th, 2025 Finance Committee meeting, the committee approved an increase to the electric golf cart annual fee, matching the cost of electricity increase between 2025, 18 cents per kilowatt, and 2015, 18 cents per kilowatt, and 2025, 34 cents per kilowatt, effective January 1st, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved, on November 18th, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby authorizes to carry out this resolution as written, that owners of golf carts electing to charge their vehicle within Third Laguna Hills shall be assessed an annual golf cart charge fee of $292. And resolve further that residents operating electric golf carts shall obtain a valid decal from Resident Services indicating payment of the annual fee before charging in mutual outlets. And resolve further an annual January to December electricity usage fee set by the third board will be required for every electric golf cart registered and elected to charge in the mutual. This fee may be prorated, registered during the year for $24.33 monthly. Resolved further, charging must occur in compliance with posted guidelines to avoid overloading circuits. Residents are encouraged to coordinate with neighbors and stagger charging times to prevent circuit breaker trips. Recommended amperage draw is no more than 8 amps, and if more than 2 vehicles are using a bank of circuits, each vehicle should limit to 5 amps or less. And resolve further, owners are solely responsible for maintenance of the vehicles and any associated charging equipment. No modifications may be made to mutual outlets, circuit breakers, or wiring without proper authorization. And resolve further, owners seeking to use high voltage charging must comply with board-approved alteration standards section 44 and shall be required to apply for a permit and make necessary arrangements with the electrical service provider, currently SCE, for installation of a separate service panel and conduit and appropriate electrical outlet. In such an event, vehicle registration will not be required. And resolve further that Resolution 31542, adopted on April 21st, 2015, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. The initial notification of 28 days has been satisfied.
Can I get a motion to put this on the floor? I see Director Rain Sosak moves, and I see Director Hopkins seconds. Okay, discussion by board members. Director Moon.
Thank you. I think the increase is, for a long time overdue and needed to be increased, but I think about 30% of our Third Mutual residents are part-time resident here, and they are going away to their own home in the northeast or east coast. And so they are charged for whole year, even if they are staying here only less than 6 months, because that. So is there any way we can incorporate it in that some kind of discount system or considering them? Thank you.
Staff would have a very difficult time identifying those individuals specifically, so we wouldn't necessarily be able to discount one resident versus the other, but if you were to choose to discount the rate entirely and go from 292 to a separate rate, that would be up to the discretion of the board. But understanding that's an accurate assumption in terms of part-time residents, but the rate that we're including is for the full year. So,
Yeah, we have a lot of, my estimate about 30% of our population is a part-time resident. So they are not draining a lot of our resource, much less than full-time resident. CRF facility, not only this golf cart, many other facilities. So I hear a lot of complaint from them, and they are paying full amount, which they are not using it. A lot of people, let's say I'm living in Wisconsin, which I used to live, because of their tax purpose, they have to stay more than 6 months over there. So they are coming here almost, as much as they like to be here, they cannot be here more than 6 months. And so let's say they are here almost 6 months, or even 3 months, 4 months, and they feel, other resident, full-time resident taking their money from their pocket while their eyes open.
Okay. Anybody else? Comments? Director Fox?
Okay, a couple things. First, I think the 292 is justified. I think just merely prorating the cost from 18 cents to 34 cents, it's simple math. As far as you're concerned about people who are here not as much as other people, then you fall into the trap of, I play golf once a week, you play golf twice a week. I should pay less than you should, even though we're here year round. You're using double. So I think you have to assess a cost to golf carts and just move forward from there.
Okay, Director Creamy.
This is just a matter of curiosity. Is electric bike an issue for us now? Because electric bikes, the same charging, we use, and there are more electric bike I see in the, in the community, and usually they use, they charge it in the carport. Is that an issue, or, I'm really a little bit more?
from a finance perspective, I don't have that answer. I will have a conversation with a couple of my peers and see what the volume we have in terms
I don't know.
So maybe we need to come back with a separate resolution related to.
If it is an issue, I don't know how many we register, if there are a large number of them, and they're using carports, it's the same thing. I mean, they use the same electricity.
Sure. We will do that for a future finance.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Director Park.
Yes, thank you. Resolve for the charging must occur in compliance with blah, blah, blah. On the page 7 of 8, the last resolution,
He's back to the 8 apes.
to me, it has to be rewritten. This is not a proper word you used. Like a recommended amperage draw is no more than 8 amp. There's no way you can control the amperage for charging station. This is not correctly. So it's
Yeah, you mentioned that before. I
right.
don't
It's the
think
same
we can
thing.
do that. You're
Same
right
thing.
on that.
It's a shame that we have to pass
Yeah,
with
I don't know how
wrongful
to do it.
documentation. Thank you.
Sure. So my only response to that is we've had a document in place for a while with regards to electric vehicles that dictates the amount of.
I understand.
But it's something that we will review. I will have a conversation with our electricity experts within VMS and see if that can be updated.
Yeah, this is wrong.
But
Thank you.
does it change the calculation?
Director Hopkins.
Oh, I'm sorry. May I suggest that we approve this with an adjustment to a corrected calculation of amperage which has no bearing on the final discussion. All right?
Okay, I'll second that.
And I have just a couple of questions. One is, we haven't done this analysis since when?
10 years.
10 years, yeah. So is there now a plan to kind of look at this and analyze it on an annual, semi-annual, biannual basis, on an ongoing basis? And in fact, all of the fees, I know we did that in GRF, is just to take a look at it so we don't have this, spare the moment, we need to do this. We should have some sort of organized approach to when we look at it. We may not make an adjustment, but we should look at it on a more regular basis.
Correct. So Director Fox and I were having a conversation about that yesterday.
Okay.
So it's something that we'll be bringing forward in the future.
And
The resolution should say that?
No.
Okay. It's just a
but
separate
you
resolution.
but you can make that about all the fees, and so you can include that in a fee. I'm sorry, I wasn't recognized. Sorry, Mr. Chair. May I talk?
You're forgiven.
I think you can recognize that in an overall fee
I think the
adjustment.
finance committee can.
Yeah,
address that issue.
yeah. We did something like that in GRF, and I think that it's working for us.
All right.
And
You said
last-
something else?
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
same thing on this. The annual analysis, there's some sort of blended rate you're assuming. I would always, again, assume the max rate, because this is about cost recovery. I mean, that was the intent, is cost recovery, and so that would assume that. The other thing is, why did the Finance Committee not endorse?
So the Finance Committee chose a simpler approach in terms of taking the difference between the 2015 electrical charge versus the current electrical charge and applying that to the 155 that is currently in place. So again, staff came with a recommendation, Finance Committee came through with a different endorsement.
So does the Finance Committee have any?
All right, Director Park.
Yes, Steve, the question to you is, you both EV and golf cart, the increase is based on your estimated calculation, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. We can calculate very close based on wattage you were using or mileage you were using.
Yes. So back in 2015, a large analysis was performed where numerous surveys, 400 surveys, 400 surveys were returned to us. And based upon that information, we came up with an average usage.
Right.
So based upon that, the $155 charge was created. And then what we ultimately did with this number that you have before you is all we replaced was the difference between the 18 cents per kilowatt, and we replaced it with a 34 cent kilowatt, and that's arriving at the new rate.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's based on calculation. Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else from the board? Is there anybody from the members that have a comment on this? Hearing none. Okay, we have a motion on the floor, and we're ready to vote.
Okay, same procedure, Craig, Peggy, and Steve. Okay, Steve, I have your vote. Steve voted yes. I can get Craig and Peggy's votes. Okay, I'm going to mark them as abstain
Abstain again?
since they're not
Okay.
unmuting.
So the motion passed, the resolution passes, 7 in favor, 1 no, and 2 abstentions. Motion passes. Okay, we're on now to item D, entertain a motion to approve the 2026 collection and lien enforcement policy. Again, Secretary Johnson?
Short one.
Okay.
Resolution 0325XX, 2026 Collection and Lien Enforcement Policy. Whereas, in accordance with California Civil Code, Third Laguna Hills Mutual maintains a collection and lien enforcement policy that outlines the procedures, policies, and practices employed by the mutual in enforcing lien rights or other legal remedies for default in payment of assessments. And whereas legal counsel has reviewed the existing collection and lien enforcement policy and determined the updated policy complies with civil code requirements and reflects current practices for collection of mutual delinquencies. Now therefore be it resolved, November 18th, 2025, that the Board of Directors hereby adopts the 2026 Third Laguna Hills Mutual Collection and Lien Enforcement Policy as attached to the official minutes of this meeting. And resolve further, the policy statement is provided pursuant to the requirements of California Civil Code Section 5310, subsection A, subsection 7, and will be distributed to members in November 2025 as part of the annual policy statement. Resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. 28-day notification has been satisfied.
Okay, can I get a motion, please, from somebody?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Director Creamy moves. Can I get a second? I see Director Johnson jumped in, and she's the second. Okay, we'll open this up for any discussion, please. Members? Hearing no discussion, members, is there anybody from the residents? No discussion from the residents? Okay, I guess we're ready then to vote quickly on this one. Please, everybody vote.
Okay, Craig, Peggy, and Steve, if you can submit your votes via the Zoom chat or unmute yourselves and provide your vote. Okay, Steve stated yes. Okay, so still nothing from Craig and Peggy, so I'll mark them the same as the last few.
Them as abstain. Okay, motion passes 8 in favor, and 2 abstentions. Okay, we now move to new business under item number 11. I would like to suggest that we take up the denial of the request for removal of one sugar plum tree so our resident doesn't have to wait an extended period of time. Okay? Can I get before you speak, can I get a motion on the floor to this resolution to deny the request for the removal of one sugar? This was originally on the consent calendar. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, second. Director Fox seconds. Okay. Sir, please speak.
Yes, in connection with our removal request of the eucalyptus tree located next to our building.
This is a sugar gum tree, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I attended the landscape committee meeting last week, but I was a little late and I didn't know that to submit the speaker request form was necessary. So I missed the opportunity to speak last week. On this particular case, landscape department staff reported their negative view to our removal request based on 2 reasons which I feel very questionable. Number 1, they saw the tree was in fair condition, except for minor points where here and there. But we see it totally different. Unlike last year when it had significant foliage, it has lost virtually all its green leaves this season, as you can see in the photos. You can easily compare with other eucalyptus trees nearby. The tree is dying and very much dry. The unhealthy trees are most likely to drop major limbs. Number 2, the landscape department said the tree remained appropriately sized for its location, but we all know that it stands towering high above nearby buildings. As the main trunk stands about 10 feet away from the wall, but it has well over 20 major branches, and approximately half of these are overhanging directly onto my bedroom. The tree has overgrown and poses a catastrophic danger to our building. It is scary to go to bed every night right underneath this huge towering tree. Given the tree's current dry condition, it presents an increased hazard, fire hazard. In the event of wildfire or even domestic fire, this massive tree would become instant fuel for firewood. So I must reiterate that you would reconsider this case and request urgent and necessary action. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. What are the wishes or thoughts of the board related to this? Anyone?
I would suggest that we send back to the landscape committee for reconsideration and follow-up.
All right, well, we have a motion on the floor to deny. That's the motion that's currently on the floor. Would you, you were the mover of that motion, would you?
I withdraw that.
Withdraw the motion, and you were the second, would you withdraw your second, Director Johnson?
Yes.
Okay, and you want to make a new motion, Director Creamy?
Yeah, because this is, the issue is still with the landscaping. I recommend that we send back to the landscaping for reconsideration, and if they insist, then they can let us know.
Okay, so you make a motion to send this issue back to landscaping for reconsideration?
Yes, sir.
And do I get a second to that?
I'll second the Razor's motion.
All right, Director Moon seconds that motion. Is there any now discussion about that motion? Director Hopkins?
What is the basis for rediscussion at landscaping?
He never had the opportunity to present at landscaping.
I see.
He went to landscaping, but he didn't understand that he had to speak at a certain point in time. He waited till the very end, so the decision was made without his input to landscaping. So we'd like to give him the I guess the goal is to give him the opportunity to present his ideas and his thoughts to landscaping, and based on that, for them to make the final determination. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. All right, any more discussion about the motion to refer this back to landscaping for reconsideration, which they will do at their next, if we send it back, they'll do that at their next meeting. Okay? All those, can we put that up as a vote, please?
Okay, thank you, Steve.
That's the wrong motion.
It might state it incorrectly on your end, but on my end, it's the correct motion. It says...
Read what it says.
It says, entertain a motion to refer this request back to the Landscape Committee for reconsideration, and then it states the request of the removal of this tree.
Okay, I just want to make sure that everybody, because what's on our screen is different. Okay, that's what you're voting on. So when you vote, you're voting on what Michaela just read.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just doesn't update on your guys' end.
Trust but verify. Yeah.
I have Steve's vote. He voted yes. I need Craig and Peggy to unmute themselves. If not, I will,
Abstain.
again, mark them as abstaining.
Give them a moment. Go ahead and list them as abstained. Motion passes 8 yes, 2 abstentions. This will be referred back to the Landscape Committee. Yes?
We skipped over item 10E under unfinished business, which is entertain a motion to approve the fruit tree and vegetable policy.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. That's the addendum, folks.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. This is to entertain a motion to approve the fruit tree and vegetable policy This was on 28-day notice, and I would ask,
Here.
here it is, right here. Okay, she's got it. You want somebody else to read it since you've been reading so much? No, that's okay. All
He
right.
gave me a cough drop.
All right.
Resolution 0325XX, fruit tree and vegetables policy. Whereas fruit trees in the common area were planted by or at the request of members as part of the discontinued Yellow Stake program. And whereas fruit trees are not maintained or trimmed by the mutual and are the responsibility of the member to maintain, and whereas the maintenance of fruit trees is passed on to new members with the purchase of the residence, and whereas fruit trees and vegetable gardens are a known attractant and food source for wildlife and rodents, and unmaintained fruit trees exacerbate the problem, and whereas 2 garden centers have been provided by the Golden Rain Foundation for the purpose of providing a place for residents to grow vegetables or other crops, and whereas there has been a consistent increase in rodent and wildlife activity. Now therefore be it resolved, November 18th, 2025, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby prohibits the planting of any fruit trees in common area and requires members to maintain existing fruit trees in the common area and in exclusive use common areas. And resolve further, the planting of vegetables in the common area is prohibited. And resolve further that the managing agent is hereby authorized and directed to remove any vegetable plants found in the common area. And resolve further to maintain the health and safety of the members. Fruit trees have found to be unmaintained will be removed with notice by the mutual. And resolve further, existing fruit trees in the common area are to be removed in the resale process. And resolve further, Resolution 03-23-146, revised September 19th, 2023, is hereby superseded in its entirety and no longer in effect. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to, on behalf of the corporation, to carry out this resolution. 28-day notification has been satisfied.
Can I get a motion to put this on the floor, please? Director Rain Sosak moves. Can I get a second? Director
Second.
Karimi seconds. All right, it's open for discussion. I see Megan is there. Do you have anything you want to say about this? Or you're just prepared to answer any questions if necessary? Okay. Director Fox.
So this motion pertains to common area. What about exclusive use common area?
It's mentioned.
But, so you, okay, what are the rules as it pertains to exclusive use common area, if this passes?
Exclusive use common area for fruit trees, they take care of it just like the outside. In the resale, the exclusive use common area is not going to be covered that they're going to take the tree out of the exclusive use common area. It's only common areas.
So everything that's currently there can stay there?
In exclusive use common
Right.
area, correct.
Okay.
All right. Director Moon.
We started for the pest control with the fruit tree. It doesn't matter exclusive common area or exclusive common area. There's trees with the fruit drops. We have the same problem. The red doesn't recognize exclusive common area and then common area.
Oh, they know.
Please understand that.
It's not the issue of the
animals recognize that is the right of the owner that we're talking about.
Okay.
Actually, it's more our neighbors.
Anybody else? Director Hopkins?
Yeah, two quick ones. It mentioned non-maintained fruit trees. And so how does landscaping distinguish that? I'm not asking us that question, but that is a judgment that they make on the scene. So I just want to make sure that we're comfortable with that. The other part of it is this seems to be something that United may want to be aware of, because if you go into Gate 5, you've got a mixture of United and Third, and so there should be some consistency with the policy. Not that we don't adopt our own policy, but there should be some level, or at least an attempt to have some level of consistency in the application of that policy.
Megan, if we pass this, if we pass this policy, would you please share it with United?
It's already on 28 Day with United.
That answered that. Okay.
That was quick.
Thank you. That was very good. All right. Anybody else? Comments or questions related to this? Do we have any member comments? No member comments related to this? Okay. Then we're ready to vote.
Craig, can I get your vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And Steve,
Positive.
thank you. And Steve voted yes as well. Peggy, are you able to unmute yourself? Okay, I'll mark her as abstain again.
Okay. Motion. Who have we not heard from? Just Peggy? Yeah. Okay, motion passes 8 yes, 1 no. Motion's approved, and we're ready now to move towards new business. Entertain a motion to approve the amended financial qualifications policy. This will go on 28-day notification. Secretary, if you'd be so kind.
Resolution 0325XX, Financial Qualifications Policy. Third Laguna Hills Mutual desires to protect and preserve the financial integrity of the corporation and ensure consistency among the provisions of its governing documents. And whereas it is in the best interest of the corporation to revise the financial qualifications policy for the purpose of enhancing efficiency and addressing key challenges by clarifying the following. First, the member discipline process for providing false or misleading information. 2, the requirement of providing aged accounts 188 days when submitting net worth qualifications. Equity in U.S. residential policy may be considered as an acceptable asset. 4, applicants do not need to show proof of California residency. 5, guarantors can only guarantee 1 unit at a time in the community. 6, income requirement calculations for multi-unit purchases. Now therefore be it resolved, December 16, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby amends the financial qualifications policy as attached to the official minutes of this meeting, and resolve further that said amendments shall become effective January 1, 2026, and shall be disseminated to the real estate community, and resolve further that Resolution 032570, adopted April 15, 2025, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of this corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution.
Okay. It's on 28-day notice. Is there any discussion, anything from the board related to this? Because it goes on 28 days. Do we need an actual motion to put it on 28 days?
Yeah.
Yes. So can I get a motion to put this on 28 days from somebody?
So move.
I see Director Johnson moves. Can I get a second?
Second.
Director Karimi seconds. Okay. Discussion. Hearing none. I would just like to thank the committee that worked on this because it went through a number of machinations to get us to the point where we all seem to be in agreement as to what the how the assets have to be counted and things of that nature. So to Jeff Spees from that division, thank you very much for your work on this. And it's now officially on 28-day notice. Okay? We'll now move to item B.
I'm sorry, did you guys vote on it?
What? Oh, I'm
We gotta
sorry.
vote.
Thank you. We have to vote on 28 days, yes. Thank you very much. People cast their vote. Got ahead of myself.
Okay, Craig and Steve?
Aye.
I vote yes.
Thank
vote
you.
yes.
Did I hear Peggy's voice in that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought I did.
Yep, they all voted yes.
All right. Motion is approved with 10 yes. Everyone's in favor. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is entertain a motion to approve rescinding the September 16, 2025 motion on board authorizing staff to approve like for equivalent grandfathered alterations in common area. All right. I'm not going to ask you to read
Don't.
the whole motion. I will just, let me say this about this. We have to have a motion to approve rescinding. What happened was last month, we approved a motion that was not on the agenda. We ignored the material that was on the agenda that included a recommendation from the committee, and we went off in a different direction. So we can't legally approve what we approved last month. Therefore, even though, quote, we approved it, we now have to formally rescind it. Okay, so can I get a motion to rescind? Director Rain Sosak moves, Director Karimi seconds. Is there any discussion either for or against?
I have a question.
You have a question, please?
How do we put it back on the agenda to get it moving forward again?
It'll go back to the committee because the wording of has to be reviewed in the committee, and then once the committee approves it, it'll come forward back to the full board.
Thank you.
Okay? Hearing no other discussion, can we please vote to rescind?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Aye.
Thank you, and I have Steve's as well.
Okay. All right. All the voting is in, and the motion passes 9 yes with 1 abstention. So we have rescinded that motion. We can now move on to 11C, which is entertain a motion to approve the restoration of decorative architectural roundwood elements, or otherwise known as vigas. This goes on 28-day notification, and
Yes.
Madam Secretary, if you would please read it.
Resolution 0325XX, whereas on June 17th, 2025, the Board of Directors rescinded the directive to remove decorative architectural round wood elements called vigas during the Prior to Paint program. And whereas on October 6, 2025, the Maintenance and Construction Committee voted unanimously to recommend that the Board of Directors approve restoring vigas on 81 buildings that had vigas removed. Now therefore be it resolved on December 16, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves the restoration of 5-inch round decorative architectural round wood element posts, vigas, on 81 buildings according to the 15-year painting schedule. Resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. And as stated, it goes on 28-day notice.
Okay. Can I get a motion to put this on the floor, please?
Make the motion to put it on the floor.
Director Creamy moves. Can I get a second?
Second.
Director Johnson seconds. Any discussion about this? Michaela.
There is a member email comment for this item.
Didn't you read that earlier?
No, it's a separate one.
Oh, that was the deny. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. It's from Mr. Lessie, Jay Lessie, and he stated, "Dear Board, my name is Jay Lessie. I appreciate the Maintenance and Construction Committee's recommendation that the Vigas removed from 81 buildings be replaced over time. This will restore the architecture to a large part of the community. Care must be taken when maintaining or altering our buildings to protect their architectural integrity and curb appeal. The same care should go into the alterations process as well. It would all lead to higher property values. I appreciate all the people with good taste who support replacing the Vigas. Thank you." And that is all.
Any other discussion about putting this on 28-day notice? Hearing none, if we could, I'm sorry, go Director Park first.
Do we know the cost of this restoration?
It's on the last page.
Yeah, in the original report,
Page 4 of 10.
It was minimal.
it was $3,000 to $7,000 a year, depending on the paint cycle,
Okay, thank you.
It's going to be over a long period of time.
over 15 years. Director Hopkins, you had a hand up?
Yeah, I was going to comment on the cost too. I'm looking at the financial analysis, and I think we should also highlight when these things happen that they're coming from the reserve account and the impact that on residents, because most people, when they see a dollar amount, they think of current, and I think we should just to better inform everybody that this is a reserve account item that is already quote accounted for.
Thank you. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, could we please vote on putting this on 28 days?
Aye.
Thank you. I think I have Steve's vote as well. I just need Craig's vote. It looks like we're missing Howard and Ruth's vote. Perfect, thank you. Okay, perfect. Craig, are you able to unmute yourself?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so 9 yes, 1 no, it goes on 28-day notice. Thank you. And under the last item under new business, at least is entertain a motion to approve to direct staff to follow the recommendations of the tree assessment report dated October 15th, 2025. I don't see any particular resolution in my packet related to this. Does this go on 28-day notice?
No, we do have staff here to answer any questions, but there was no resolution with this. It's just to approve the recommendation to direct staff to follow the recommendations of the tree risk assessment report.
So, all right.
Just attached.
But Megan is here to answer any questions you guys have.
Okay, I don't have any questions about the report. I was just wondering, so it doesn't need to go on 28 days. So if we just get a motion to approve, to direct staff to follow the recommendations of the tree risk assessment report dated October 15, 2025. I'll entertain a motion to that effect. Somebody?
Anybody from landscaping? I'll make the motion to approve.
All right. Karimi moves. Can I get a second? Rain Sozak seconds. Okay. Open for discussion. This actually relates to, just to share with the residents, that there was the eucalyptus tree that fell in United and fell on a laundry room and crushed the laundry room. And based on that, there was a desire to assess trees in Third Mutual that might be in a similar condition and location that could cause potential problems for our residents and for our manners. So a tree assessment was done, and it's quite extensive. And there, I think, Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, I think 7 that are identified as needing removal because of either the location, the condition, whatever, and there are a number of others that they're going to clean up the area around the tree and then re-inspect. You want to help us out?
Yes, that is all correct.
Okay.
So there's 7 we're recommending removal, and there are 3 we're recommending to clean the ring around the tree so that the landscape isn't around it, so there's no moisture created there.
Right. Okay, that's really where we are. This is taking a proactive approach in an attempt to prevent the kinds of things that occurred in United related to their tree. All right?
May I ask a question?
Please.
Is this report, we had, members came in and wanted, remove the tree and, they go with the safety, with view, whatever. Is that covered, all of the trees? What are the trees that we cover? What are the areas that we covered for this study versus member keep coming about asking for the tree removal?
So we did 121 trees. They were all eucalyptus, and there was 3 specific species. So it was a blue gum and sweet gum and a manna gum. So if you look on the report, the second paragraph, it lists the 3 species of eucalyptus trees that were identified.
And if I'm not mistaken, the gentleman who was here requesting that we remove the tree, his was a sweet gum tree, so his would be on this list in all likelihood.
That's what I was.
Is that correct?
Yes, there's a possibility that that tree is on the list.
Okay.
Then we want to make sure.
Yeah, we want to make sure.
Exactly.
We'll pull the tree ID when it comes back to committee, and then we can compare the 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we don't want to make
Poor
one
guys.
determination versus.
So now the determination.
Yeah, it's a different aspect. His is infested with beetles, which we're currently treating. These ones are totally different.
Okay. Okay. As long as you're on top of it, that's fine.
Yeah, we can compare the 2 tree IDs to see if it's
Thank
on the
you.
list.
Anybody else, questions for Megan, or any other questions related to this? Hearing none, then I guess we're ready to vote.
Just to let you guys know, Steve hopped off of Zoom, so I will mark him as absent for this vote.
Okay.
You chose the right time.
Aye.
Thank you, Craig. Peggy, can I get your vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Peggy.
Okay, so that's the vote, 9 in favor, 1 absent, motion passes in terms of the tree issues. All right, we are now ready, believe it or not, for committee reports, and we will start with the Finance Committee report. Director Fox.
Yes. How do I get off
Thank
there?
you, President Muchnick. Okay, the Finance Committee last met in closed session on November 4th, 2025. And it was matters of personal nature to some of the members of the village, so we don't talk about that in public, as they say. Okay, slide number 1. If we could bring that up. Take your time. I got all day. And we see on slide 1, through the reporting period of September 30, 2025, total revenue for Third Laguna Hills Mutual was approximately $37 million, and our expenses were 35.4, which gives us a net revenue to date, 9 months, of 1.6 million. And that, as compared to the budget, we have a positive variance of 1.4 million. Now, some of this excess is due to timing, and some of these expenses and revenue should reverse out and net out between now and the end of the year. if we go to slide 2, slide 2 shows variances year-to-date for selected significant expenses in our financials. The biggest one, of course, is insurance, which has a favorable variance due to a savings starting in June. On the property insurance renewal, our rates were a little less than the prior year. So we should this year have project a favorable variance of $1.6 million for the year. Right now we're at about $900,000. Outside services, we have a favorable variance of $334,000, and that is primarily moving a lot of our landscape labor from outside to in-house labor. And in the maintenance and construction, the favorable variance has been driven by no contingency funding needed for full copper pipe replacements through the period. Investment income, there's a favorable variance resulting from higher than anticipated rate of return on investment balances. And then we have the materials and supplies, and also the utilities and telephone, which is unfavorable, and that's due to higher water usage rates, trash rates, and electricity rates than anticipated. And we move to slide number 3. And slide number 3, this shows our non-assessment revenues earned to date of $2.7 million by category. And the largest revenue generating category is investment income, followed by chargeable services, then lease processing fees, et cetera, et cetera. This just gives you pictorially a view of how they all relate to each other. Move on to slide number 4. Slide number 4, we see expenses to date of $35.4 million by category. And again, you can see how each of the expenses relate to one another. The outside services and the employee compensation, a significant portion of our expenses, followed by utilities, insurance, and so on and so forth. Moving to slide number 5. Slide number 5, we try to keep a close eye on the operating portion of our financial results. And the operating fund shows a surplus of $364,000 throughout the reporting period. This table shows how much of our revenue went into operations, with 23.8 coming in from assessments and 1.6 million coming in from non-assessment revenues. This is compared to operating expenditures of $25.1 million without depreciation. And this is through September 30 of 2025. Moving on to slide number 6. The non-operating fund balances on September 30 totaled $36.3 million. Year-to-date contributions, interest, and fund transfers totaled $11.5 million, while expenditures were $10.2. This table shows that our non-operating fund balances increased by $1.3 million overall since the start of the year. And it also shows our ending balance, our beginning balances and ending balances. And it's the ending is as of September 30, not September 31, just as an aside. Okay, slide number 7. Slide number 7, there we go. Okay, what we've got here is we're comparing the non-operating fund balances to historical fund balances for the past 5 years on this chart. which has averaged $32.9 million. Third Laguna Hills Mutual has been committed to supporting reserve requirements and having more contingency funds for unexpected events. And you can see on this chart the annual growth in our reserves. And we go to chart number 8. And this is showing our resale history from 2023 to 2025. Through September of this year, third resales totaled 272, which is 8 sales less than the prior year for the same time period. The average year-to-date resale price for a third mutual was $618,000, which is $5,000 less than the prior year for the same time period. And that be that.
That concludes your report.
That concludes my report. Our next meeting is December 2nd, 2025 at 1:30 in the boardroom.
Okay. Next up is the report of the Architectural Control and Standards Committee, which is the committee that I currently chair. The committee last met on November 10th. There was not a lot of business transacted. The next meeting is December 1st, 2025, where we, at 9:30 here in the boardroom, where we expect to address a number of variance requests. We now move on to, where am I looking? Maintenance and Construction, Director Karimi.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Maintenance and Construction Committee met on Monday, November 3rd, and there was a review of the project logs. We also talked with the maintenance about small maintenance issues that members, really concerned about, and the maintenance department said that they're going to look into it and make sure, like, lights on the stairways or, walkways and things like that, that can be, a safety issue and should not be overlooked. And on top of that, we discussed the project logs, and question was answered on that. We also had the pest control for termite program presentation. Mr. Phelps provided overview of the program. We had a PowerPoint presentation and answered the question to the committees. A brief discussion ensued regarding the postponement of treatment of building schedule for the fumigation. Also, Mr. Mejia talked about the status of renewable energy provider presented that the staff hasn't been successful to get vendors willing to present ideas to us, but we haven't gave up on that yet, and we're going to continue looking for the opportunities from the outside world for the vendors that can come here and give us some ideas of how we're going to be able to, improve our powers for especially the EV charging, the discussion that we had about the electric vehicle and not enough electricity in the carports, etc. So we're going to continue working on that one because that's an issue that we have to deal with as we go forward. For the future agenda, we have Gardenville Association Engineering Seepage Report that we're going to work in January. We have incentive upgrades for pipes or installed dedicated water shut-off valves. We're going to discuss that in the future. And the Gate 11 Nueces water seepage. The next meeting is Monday, December 1 at 1:30 p.m. here in the boardroom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up is the report of the Landscape Committee, and Director Rain Socek, it's all yours.
Thank you. Landscape Committee met on November 6th, not 16th. And as is often the case, the primary topic of discussion was trees. We had residents requesting removal of trees for various reasons, and it always comes up at each meeting as a primary topic. So we wanted to share with you, when this community was first built, trees were often planted for rapid growth, get the community going, have it look good. A little consideration to water needs and whether or not they were native species. And that's become a problem over time. And so in 2023, Third Mutual actually requested and had an urban forest management plan created and approved, and we are following that as best we can, deviating only when there are risk assessments like we heard earlier today and something exceptional, or tree falls down, what have you. And the plan is available online. We want everybody to know that plan is available online. It's under Services, Landscape, and then the Urban Forest Plan. It is, after all, Laguna Woods, and we're trying to keep it that way. And part of the plan, and one of the key points, is that we need to maintain young, middle-aged, and older trees to have a healthy forest environment. So we have trees at all ages. And although we understand some trees may need to be removed for various times out of schedule, et cetera, but when we can, and when we're replacing trees, the consideration is given to water needs, to growth pattern, and to whether or not these are native species that will do well in this environment. When we know that a tree needs to be removed, whenever it's possible, and we want residents to know this because this question often comes up, we want to plant the new tree before it's time to remove the larger one so that it'll be more established when the other one's removed. We don't have a big gap and a big hole. And again, I've mentioned when the urban forest plan can be viewed, and our next meeting is December 4th at 9:30 a.m. right here in the boardroom.
Thank you. Now I'll turn it back over to you again for water conservation.
Yes, closely related to landscape, of course, is water conservation. And water conservation is of great importance to all of us, as it's, and I do want to emphasize, it's the only component of our budget where we as residents can make a difference when it comes to residential water use. Currently, Third Mutual's annual total water bill is more than $3 million. And a significant part of that is residential water use. We've discussed at our meeting on October 30th, which is our quarterly meeting, we discussed the planning for water conservation, not only in Third, but in collaborating with other entities such as GRF and United, and that collaboration is moving forward, which we're very excited about. We also reviewed the presentation by Dennis Cafferty, the General Management of El Toro Water District, who spoke at the board meeting on October 21st on the future of water. That was so informative. We're going to be working with TV6 to have him return and repeat it for the entire Laguna Woods community, because the future of water and what ETWD is doing to help us meet the challenges is so important. Watch for that announcement. It'll be here. We'll be announcing it hopefully in things like What's Up in the Village. We're excited about working with the rest of the community on water conservation. We'll keep you posted and let you know. First of all, our next quarterly meeting will be January 29th. That's the last Thursday in January at 2 p.m. here in the boardroom, and we would love to have our members join us.
Thank you. Next up is the report of the Resident Policy and Compliance Committee. This committee met on October 28th and actually had been very busy. Earlier in today's meeting, we approved the item of financial qualifications policy. That came out of the policy committee. We rescinded the issue related to like for equivalent, and that also came out of the policy committee. And the policy committee currently is working on enacting an accessibility policy. And the policy has basically been written. It has been reviewed by legal, and there are a couple of things that are going to be tweaked related to that. But I expect that at the next meeting of the policy committee, that will come forth and for vote by the full board. The next meeting of the policy committee is November 26th, next Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. here in the boardroom. And lastly, for a committee report from the 3rd is the report of the Garden Villa Recreation Room Committee. Director Yoon.
Garden Villa Recreation Room Committee met October 29th, and we discussed how we're going to maintain, and the staff reported how the flows and all other Garden Villa Recreation Room maintained. And we're gonna meet again, and next meeting is March 18, 2026. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Hume. Now we move on to the GRF committee highlights. Up first is the GRF Community Activities Committee. Director Fox.
Okay, so let's see. We last met, when did we last meet?
October 9th.
October 9th of 2025. There was a lively discussion about a variety of topics, and to be honest, nothing was accomplished. So there are several items that were pushed off to future agendas, as happens every month on this committee. And these items are annual club fees and public art initiative, and the Recreation Department operating rules. Let's see. We also had a pretty spirited conversation about fundraising and what that should be, and of course that got tabled again. What can I say about community activities other
That the
than
next meeting is?
The next meeting is, let's see,
December
December 11th, 1:30 in the afternoon. I invite everybody to come for comic relief.
Ooh. For those of you in the audience who may not be aware, there's been some major membership changes on the GRF board, and there are been a number of resignations, and that board is basically being completely reconstituted, and that'll take place over the next couple of months. So there may still be some chaos as it relates to some of these committees. Next up is Director Fox again, village traffic hearings.
Great. Okay, so October 15th, we last met, and I must say that I'm learning all new ways to justify breaking the law. Basically, we have people come in and try to justify why they're running stop signs or speeding and committing all sorts of safety and health violations, potentially hurting us if we're walking around the village. So that's what we do. We hear all these cases and we render judgment and then decide amongst ourselves, representatives from each of the mutuals, whether the fee that's being assessed is justified. And that's my report. And the next meeting is tomorrow. Wow, tomorrow is great.
I'm glad you're having so much fun, Director Fox. I will say this, just also for the audience, that if you're not aware, that the security, when they issue you or stop you for running a stop sign or speeding, they typically have video of the situation. So please be aware that if you get a ticket, it's probably been videoed, and that video is brought in as evidence of your infraction. So just be aware of that, because some residents come into those traffic hearings with all sorts of explanations, and then they see the video and they go, oh, never mind, I guess I'm guilty. So just be aware that you're videotaped. Okay, next up is the disaster preparedness. Director Parsons, he is not available, but the next meeting of the disaster preparedness, I'm trying to say two words at once, is November 25th at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom. We now move to GRF Maintenance and Construction Committee, Director Johnson.
Yes, the next meeting of this committee will be December 10th at 9:30 in the boardroom and also virtual.
Okay. GRF Finance Committee, Director Fox. You're very popular today.
Finally, I get to say something. Okay, so the last meeting was held October 15th, and then we had a special meeting on October 27th to discuss ways of raising money. That was the October 27th meeting. And if I recall, it was a rather interesting conversation that we had, and let's just leave it at that. The next meeting is going to be on December 17th, 2025, in the boardroom.
So, Director Fox, are you suggesting that nothing was really accomplished at those meetings? Is that what I'm reading between the lines?
For the most part, not a lot was accomplished, and I think there were a couple things that were passed that I was in complete disagreement with.
So you didn't raise any money?
Well, they did, and, okay, so, since you asked.
Well, the residents have a right to know.
Okay, everybody doesn't know what I
You're the source
know.
of what went on.
Okay,
and
sorry.
the residents should know.
Sorry, my mistake. My issue that was raised was that when the 2026 budget was passed, certain assumptions were made in regards to revenue. And the GRF passed the budget with those certain assumptions inherent. And then I come to find out on on the 27th, when we had that special meeting to raise funds, that even though all these assumptions, that all these assumptions were already incorporated in the budget, even though they had not been approved by anybody. So a lot of the revenue numbers were kind of inflated based on known information at the time. So I raised that point there, and a little bit of discussion, my concerns were agreed to by the VMS staff who are responsible for this. And ultimately, we did pass some of those things over my objections.
An example is the transfer fee.
The transfer
They had
fee,
built in the
which-
transfer fee.
Correct.
Into next year's budget, the increased transfer fee prior to them actually having approved that transfer fee. Director Hopkins.
Correction, trust facilities fee.
Sorry.
It is not a transfer fee.
You're correct. The trust facilities fee, which was set at $7,500, they were considering raising it to $10,000.
Well, actually, they were considering raising it to 2% of sales
Well, there were a
price.
number of proposals on the floor, but the one that was really at the heart of the matter was going from $7,500 for the trust transfer fee to trust facilities fee to $10,000. They built that additional $2,500 into the budget for next year prior to actually having approved that. Director Hopkins.
Just so we all understand, that budget was part of a 30-year, 5-year projection for the reserve account, not for the operating, which has no impact on per man or per month.
Correct, but it
Okay?
had an
Just-
impact on the reserve.
Impact on the
Okay,
projections.
that was just an example of what went on that Director Fox is referring to, that the budget was set with both operating and reserve, and then after the fact, they were looking for ways to provide.
Make it balanced.
Make it balanced. Okay? All right. GRF Mobility and Vehicles Committee, Director Hopkins, that's yours.
There was no meeting.
There was no meeting?
No.
Okay, so
It meets as necessary.
So the next meeting, according to this, says December 3rd at 1:30. Is that the necessary meeting, or we don't know yet?
Yeah. It was moved, actually. It had been scheduled, but it was moved to December 3rd.
Okay, so December 3rd, 2025, 1:30 in the boardroom.
Yep.
Is the GRF Mobility and Vehicles Committee. Now we move to the GRF Landscape Committee. Director Rain Sotek.
GRF Landscape Committee met yesterday afternoon, and as is often the case at these meetings, a great deal of it in terms of resident comments and concerns related to the creek, to what's growing there, maintenance of the creek, etc. And every meeting, I've been on that committee for a fairly long time, And every meeting, that seems to be one of the biggest concerns, and it is. Creek is a beautiful place. It's over in United, but people from Third also, of course, come and enjoy it. And what happens is people express their concerns about it, and GRF and Landscape both explain that they have little to no control over what happens because that's controlled by California Fish and Wildlife. And so it stops, and the next time we have a meeting, the very same thing happens, and the members, residents are frustrated, and the committee's frustrated because we can't do much. So yesterday at the meeting, I made the suggestion that since our hands are essentially tied, we do maintain it, but we maintain what we are permitted to maintain, and it's in very tight constraints. That perhaps this would be a great community action item. Since the committee, which is very small, writing a letter to the state doesn't do anything. We're a pretty big community, and we have a fairly large voice. And so hopefully, whether or not that happens, at least there's some thought to how we could make something happen. Because unfortunately, to hear the same concerns over and over again and know that there's nothing we can do doesn't satisfy anybody. So hopefully, there might be some action, some movement from the community itself. And of course, the people who are more concerned directly are the people in United who look at the creek, and who see it out their window. But that was really most of the discussion was that.
Okay.
So we will meet again on February 11th at 1:30 here in the boardroom.
Next up, Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee, Director Karimi. Hopefully you have some news for us.
Well, yep, the committee met on October 20th and discussed the status of the Building E. The committee recommended to the GRF board to generate RFP for the Building E, and that's in progress. And the next meeting is TBD, and we will know in the next meeting what the status of the RFP is.
Okay. Next up is Director Hopkins, Information Technology Advisory Committee, ITAC.
Yeah, we did meet the last Friday in October. And again, it was just an update on where we stand. The process will end somewhere in the first quarter, but it will continue because it's a continuous improvement project. But most of the programming and all of the direct activities will cease at that point. There's been tremendous progress, and I think residents will start to notice because a lot of it's in the background, but results in better service to residents. And as soon as management, the entire management gets used to using all of the information flow and feedback associated with it, you should start to see some efficiencies and some improvements in resident response.
Okay, your next meeting is scheduled for December 26th at 1:30.
Yes,
Okay.
that may, because of the proximity to the holidays, that may not take place.
Gotcha. All right, GRF Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, Director Karimi.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee met on October 8th, and that was reported in the previous third Mitchell board. And the next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, January 14th.
Okay. Director Moore, are you still with us? GRF Security and Community Access Committee. All right, Director Moore is not with us at the moment. They last met October 22nd. The next meeting is February 25th at 1:30. We now move to item 14, future agenda items. The ones that are listed here are already on 28-day notice. Actually have been addressed. So do we have any additional items, future agenda items? After hearing none at the moment, we'll now move to director comments. I will start with you, Director Hopkins, and work our way around.
No comment.
Director Yoon.
No comment.
Director Park. Director Rain Sosek.
No comment.
Director Karimi.
Thank you, no comment.
Director Fox.
Well, no comment.
Director Johnson.
No comment.
All right, I will say that next week is Thanksgiving. I know on behalf of the whole board, I wish everyone you and yours a very happy and fulfilling Thanksgiving, and hope that you get to spend it with family and friends. Other than that, there will be an email going out tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock to all the residents of 3rd announcing our town hall for next week and all the information related to the town hall. So please look for that email after 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Other than that, Mr. Rojas, comment? Ms. Michaela?
No, I just wanted to know what time you'd like to schedule closed.
Well, it's 12 o'clock now. Why don't we say 12:30?
Sure.
Half hour? All right. Thank you, folks, for all the time that you've spent here this morning. We hope that it's been beneficial. And other than that, we will recess and we will reconvene at 12:30 for the closed meeting. Thank you all.